Nice one.
Get yourself comfy there.
Right then, so just going to start really with a couple of quick questions. So you haven't got to answer these, I just want you to think about them for a few seconds. So the first question really is, are you having a good day or a bad day? So like I said, you don't have to answer, just think to yourself, are you having a good day or a bad day? The next question is, why are you having a good day or a bad day? So if you're having a good day, obviously why? If you're having a bad day, why? Just have a little think. And then the third question, and the easiest question hopefully, is tomorrow, do you want to have a good day or a bad day? So that should be the easiest one, because obviously we should all say tomorrow we want to have a good day. And that's the same way with happiness as well. Obviously we all want to be happy, and not just for some of the day, preferably for the whole time if possible. But let's face it, obviously it doesn't work like that. Obviously you can't be happy 24/7, but you can be happy. You can prime your mindset to have a lot more happiness in your life. And another good thing to think about as well is, if you have the choice between having more or less happiness, what does everyone want? Does everyone want more happiness? Yeah? Does anybody here want less happiness? Is there anybody that's like, I'm a little bit too happy and I just want to be a little bit less happy tomorrow? Cool. Alright, so we're all on the same page. So first of all, I just want to say obviously thank you to all of you for being here. I know probably all quite busy, got paperwork to do, and potentially stopping other patients coming in, stopping more money coming into the business and things like that. So thank you to all of you guys and girls, mainly girls here today. But thank you for all being here, and I just want to say a big thank you to you two as well. So obviously for inviting me down and allowing me to talk to all your team, but also just want to acknowledge these two as well. So as Ali said, this really is all for your benefit. This is all kind of geared towards helping you guys look at your own personal lives and to sort of look at what goals you want to do, how do you want to improve your personal life. So this is really for your benefit. This isn't for business development in terms of it's going to benefit the surgery. And on that note, like, there's 9 of you here, so 3 hours out of 9 people, that's like best part of half a week's worth of productive hours for you guys. So you've got 2 very good bosses here that are definitely, in my opinion, looking out for all of you as well as the business as well. But I just wanted to point that out anyway. So he just to let you know as well, he didn't put me up to say that. That's genuinely how I see it. And in the background, the conversations we've had as to what he wants to achieve out of this, it is all about you guys. So I just want you to know that. And like I say, he didn't put me up to it, so I hope you don't mind me bigging you up a little bit there. So really, overall, this is going to be the first of potentially a series of workshops. So we've already kind of booked in the second one. Whether we do more after that is entirely down to you guys, whether you think you're getting value from this. Obviously it's up to you too if you want to continue doing it. But really, like I say, this is the first of potentially a couple of workshops. So what you're going to get overall, so like Adam said, like Ali said, getting you both mixed up. So like Ali said, I'm currently a coach, so primarily I market myself as a happiness coach. So I won't go too much into detail about that. If I start telling my story, we'll be here for the 3 hours before we get into anything. But really, just quickly, and if you've all watched the video, you've probably got a bit of an idea.
Can I interrupt and ask, did anybody see the video?
I think they all have, to be fair, yeah. Really, pleasantly surprised. May
I also say that Richard's actually an engineer as well, so he didn't come from a background of squalor with nothing to do. He's got a good job actually. So
yeah, and I still do as well. So I'll come on to that a little bit later. So at the moment, this is something I'm building on the side. It's pretty much getting to the point where I could sort of take this full time. But yeah, like I say, we'll come on to that in a little bit anyway. I am primarily a happiness coach, so I help people to change their mindset so that they can see the world in a more positive way. But obviously that gives them a lot more sort of well-being, happiness, and also it gives them a much better chance at achieving the goals that they want in life, to give them the life that they want. But on top of just doing the mindset, we also help people to achieve goals as well. So like you could call it a success coach or high performance coach. I prefer to stick with happiness coach, but the coaching system I use is actually designed to actually get people to make a difference in their life. It's not just about the way you think, it's about what you're doing and what goals you're setting and achieving. So just very quickly, my coaching system that I currently use is called the Blessed Life system. So obviously a little play on words there in terms of best life, or blessed as in, you know, feeling blessed and everything works for you. So just really quickly over today, but really today we're going to look at a few different things, but really over the series of what we do, it's all designed to bring more happiness into your life. So this is what we want in general. It's a bit of a bad smiley face, that is, I'm afraid. Now, what are a few things you guys and girls think are important to get happiness? So in this model, there's going to be 3 fundamentals or 3 core things that, in my opinion, we need to give us the best chance of happiness. Now, like I say, nothing guarantees happiness in this world, but obviously we can set ourselves up for the best chance to be happy and to have the best life possible. So just does anybody have a guess? I've already mentioned one thing. I've said that the number one thing is what I've already talked about, which I primarily work with people. So that's mindset. So with mindset, does everybody agree that if you generally have a good mindset, so if you're positive, you've got a good outlook on life, do you think that would set you up for happiness?
Yes.
And do you think if you have a negative mindset, if you're very negative, pessimistic, always looking for the worst, do you think that's going to set you up for happiness or not?
No.
Okay, cool. So mindset for me is number one. Now the reason why I say it's number one is because realistically, if you get this really powerful, you can be happy no matter what. Like there are people out there that are, and I'll explain that a little bit more in a second, but there's 2 other things. So just anybody want to have a little guess?
Health.
Perfect. So health is definitely, now I won't say what's number 2 and 3, like I say, this is just, you know, how I see it. In my opinion, health's number 2, but some people may disagree with that. But again, if we've got good health, we feel really good, energised, feeling powerful, all the rest of it. Again, you know, does that set us up potentially to have a good, happy lifestyle? As opposed to if we don't look after ourselves, we don't eat the right food, we don't exercise, our health goes down, obviously we're sick, maybe in pain, obviously not the best place to be in terms of having a happy or a positive life. So the third one is, so we talk about money, so obviously we need to be able to support ourselves, but it's more than just money. So the word rhymes with health. Does anybody want to guess what that might be?
Wealth.
Yeah. Okay, so the reason why it's wealth and not money is because obviously we can have a wealth of other things as well. So we could have a wealth of knowledge, a wealth of experience, a wealth of relationships. So wealth really, it's not just about money, it's about having all the things that you sort of want in your life. So really to get these things, and like I say, when I'm talking about just happiness coaching, I just touch on this, and some people do just want mindset coaching, and that's all. You know, some people are very wealthy, they've got great health, but they've just got a very bad mindset. And I've got, you know, I've worked with clients before that are definitely like that, and they're not interested in building these things up. But we're going to talk about the whole lot over this series of workshops. So if you want to improve your happiness or improve these 3 areas, what's a good way to improve something, or what's a vital thing? So if we want to improve something, we need to know what we've improved or what we're trying to get to. So what would you call that kind of target?
Goal.
Perfect, yeah. So if you want to get better at anything, you're going to need goals. Is that agreed?
Yeah.
Another big thing with goals as well is if you don't set them, really you don't know when you've achieved something, do you? Okay, so the next thing we need is when we're trying to achieve our goals, use something what's called support systems. So this could be anything. So in terms of, for example, a very simple goal, would we just want to get a bit healthier? So in terms of health, a support system might be something as simple as a running partner, or maybe an app on your phone that tracks how many miles you're doing or what calories you're eating or whatever it is. So support system could be something very simple. It could also be something quite complex. So for example, you know, people with businesses, the support system's a team of people that work for the business, then there's going to be lots of other things that you require as well. So to achieve goals, we need to know what do we need to achieve those goals. Does that make sense for everyone? Cool. And then after that, I'm going to put in this. So what's that say? So does anybody just want to give a quick idea of what they think accountability might be?
As in you're responsible for your own happiness rather than blaming it on someone else if you're not.
And you
That's-
have to make it happen.
Achieving whatever.
Yeah, that's a really good way of putting it. So that's slightly different. So the standard thing that people think with accountability is that you have to be accountable to somebody. Now, accountability for me, and the reason why this is a vital part of this plan, is accountability. Another concept of that really is what happens if you don't do the goal. So you've set this goal, obviously you've set a goal because you want to achieve something, but if there's no negative consequence of not doing that goal, does anybody think that goal is going to get done? So if there's no negative thing that's going to happen, like 99 times out of 100, we're just not going to do that thing. Does that make sense? Whereas obviously, if there's a big, if there's a big thing that's going to happen, a big negative thing that happens, if we don't achieve that goal, we've got a big driving force behind us to achieve it. Yeah. Okay, cool. And then the last one down here is what we call code of honour. So sounds quite what's the word? Like draconian or yeah. So now code of honour in this is it's your code of honour. It's for you. It's your personal code of honour. So basically, if you can't even do what you said you're going to do, what do you think the chances are of you getting your goal? Who thinks they're going to get a goal? If you don't even do the things you said you were going to do you think you're going to get your goal?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So your code of honour. Now, code of honour as well. We all struggle. We're all human beings. We all struggle with things like self-discipline, consistency, habits, things like that. With a code of honour, if we have a set of rules which we've set for ourselves, so this has to be something we have set, because if we don't agree with it from the beginning, we're not going to do it, are we? So the code of honour has to be something we've bought into, and if we follow that, then having to worry about have we got good or bad habits, like I said, have we got self-discipline, as long as we're following this, all the other sort of falls into place. So this is kind of like a shortcut, or a bit of a, what do you call it? I forgot what the word is now, but basically it's a way of keeping our habits and our discipline in check. Does that make sense? Cool. And just another quick thing here. So the goals is what is it that you want? The support systems, how are you going to get that? And the accountability as well, that comes into the why. Does that make sense with everybody?
Yeah.
Cool. So that's, like I say, this is my model for my coaching system. And that's what we're after, happiness. So for today, what we're really going to concentrate massively is on the goals section. So that's what we're going to talk about for most of today. But briefly, before we talk about this, we're going to touch on some wealth creation as well. So at a later date, we'll talk about wealth management, which is as important or potentially more important, because like Ali was saying before, in terms of a job or what your current income is, it doesn't really determine what your possible earnings could be. So just to put it very simply, somebody with a lower paying salary, if they've got good money management and they can create other additional income streams, they can have a much better chance of creating financial security. Somebody that's got lots of money, that has very poor money management, blows all the money every month and potentially goes further into debt every month, they're definitely not going to be in such a good position. So money management massively can dictate on how your financial future is going to look. And obviously wealth creation determines how much money you're going to make, quite simply. So we're all happy with that, yeah?
Yeah.
Just another thing to mention as well, the goals section that we're going to go through today. As Hatton mentioned, I met him on a series of courses. Sorry, Matt, I keep doing that. I've done it about 3 times in the last 2 days. I do apologise massively for both of you. I'll probably keep doing it now as well. It's stuck in my head, isn't it? Right, so basically, this guy here, Blair Singer, he's currently like my main mentor, so I'm part of his training academy. So he touches on quite a few things. So he calls Little Voice, or this is one of his books, Little Voice Mastery, but Little Voice is really talking about the mindset of things. So when we talk about little voices, we're not talking about going mad and all the rest of it. But obviously, you must all know that you have little voices in your head. And the best way to put this is when you decide you're going to do something, and then 2 minutes later you decide you're not going to do it, and then 2 minutes later you decide you are going to do it. Like, what's going on there? There's obviously there's decisions going on in your head. There's different viewpoints and all that sort of stuff. So we're not mad, but we definitely do have more than one controlling voice which dictates what we do. Does that make sense? Yeah. Cool. Just quickly as well, the other things he does, so obviously he's written this book, Team Code of Honour, so obviously that's where I've got Code of Honour from. But again, Code of Honour, so Blair is very much into business, he's very, very successful in business, he's built massive multi-million-pound businesses. He's obviously got a very big training business as well, but he does actually do with the business. And all his businesses, all his success, he basically accredits it to having Code of Honours within his teams. And he says he has Code of Honour everything, so his marriage has a Code of Honour, he has a Code of Honour with his kids, he has literally any kind of relationship he has. And again, it sounds like quite a strict thing, but it's really not, because to have a Code of Honour, the people that are abiding by that will have to buy into it. So it's not like a dictatorship, it's an agreement. Does that make sense? And the last thing is, like I say, he's a big businessman, so he's got this book called Sales Dogs, and this really just talks about different types of sales personalities. But obviously he talks about creating a lot of wealth, and the first or the most important skill in creating wealth really is sales. So sales is what brings money into any business. So that's just a quick bit of background. Just wanted to give a bit of an acknowledgement to Blair. You obviously saw Blair at Trainer. What do you think?
He's an amazing, the core's amazing, he's an amazing trainer, but we had a fight, remember, he and I
think you did actually, yeah, and that was to do with the upselling stuff.
Yeah.
Did you actually have words with him personally?
I went to approach him, he wouldn't speak to me.
Really?
Yeah, he was an arsehole.
Fair play. I think in all, so just to stick up for Blair, like we were on a 5-day training course, and I think he'd been doing like 8 hours plus a day.
Yeah.
And I think
he was tired. He said,
I think he was.
I just can't have this conversation now.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, every time you approach them with that particular thing, they swerve away from it. That whole thing about upselling.
I think, yeah. So we won't go into that now.
No,
I think obviously there's different viewpoints on that. So anyway, so moving on.
No, but truthfully, he's brilliant. The guy is brilliant, and the course is brilliant, and the things he teaches is mind-bogglingly amazing. Amazing. Can I just give an example?
Yeah, please do, yeah.
So with regards to sales technique, so they showed us the sales technique, how to sell anything, right?
Okay.
And they said, as an example, we're going to sell a small product now. We're just going to imagine, it was almost just an imaginary product, and we're just going to test it out on you guys. Okay, so everybody in the audience knows that this is just as an example. Half of the audience still got up to buy the stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's so effective.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, he was literally doing an example, showing us how to sell.
And everybody still get up to
Yeah, so he was like, I'm not selling anything, this is just how you would sell. And like halfway through his presentation, you've got people running to the back trying to buy stuff. This is just
a
an demonstration.
Yeah.
And they even actually sold stuff in the end. So many people wanted it. They were like, well, if you really want it, you can buy it. But like the whole point of this was to show you how to sell, not to sell something to you. So
it's all about trigger points in the mind. Timing and trigger points and things like that, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. It's in terms of selling, so not really what we were going to cover today, but just really quickly. In terms of selling, the big things is to find out what the benefits are, but also to find out what the pain is. So people aren't going to buy something unless it's going to solve a problem in their life. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So the easiest way to sell something, and obviously, you're at a dentist, so if somebody walks in, exactly, because the pain is physical, it's there, like they want to get rid of that. But obviously, a lot of times in life, the pain isn't physical. It might not even be pain as such, it might just be discomfort, or that they want something different. But the easiest way to sell something to anybody is to find out what is their problem and solve it. And that's literally how people make millions and billions of pounds. Just problem solving. So anyway, before we go any further, is it cool if I just give you a little bit more of a background about myself?
Please.
Cool. Alright then, so as Ali said, we've met on a series of courses, but just going back all the way to when I was quite young, I always had a bit of an entrepreneurial sort of mindset. So my entrepreneurial journey started at school, and I kind of basically started going into competition against the tuck shop. So where I used to get off the bus going into school, there was a shop called Super Six. So I think this was probably before Poundland, but I used to go in there and like just buy Haribos and bars of chocolate and cans of pop and stuff, and sell it to people at school. I basically used to double my money. So I'd go in, spend a tenner, make a tenner, come back, or I'd spend 20
My
quid.
son does.
I think quite a few people do, and to be honest, it's
It's so funny.
yeah. And obviously you've got a school
And I
full of
think Alan
kids.
Sugar started like that too, didn't he?
Say again, sorry.
Alan Sugar.
He very probably did, yeah. To be honest. I
Yeah, a
think-
lot of
I think
successful business people always started at school.
Started in
so,
school
yeah.
doing
Yeah,
something.
yeah. But I think the big thing, the point I want to make with that, I think that's where I first understood that making profits is different to making a wage. Yeah, just understanding that, about buying and selling, and that, you know, if you can make a profit on something, potentially you're not swapping time for money. You know, if you can sell a lot of those things in a small period of time, you can make a lot of money. And that's, you know, the same thing with these bookstores at the back of seminars, is they're doing what, like tens to hundreds of thousands of pounds within half an hour or something like that. I mean, you've seen it, haven't you?
Yeah.
And it's crazy. So that was kind of my first introduction of business. So without going into too much details, fast forward about a decade and a half, so I was getting to about 30. So like how Ali said as well, I'm an engineer, so I went to university, got an engineering degree. In all honesty, the only reason I did that is I wanted to be a student. I wanted to experience the student lifestyle, go out and have fun for 3 years without having to worry too much. But at the same time, I realised that if I'm going to do that and I'm going to spend 3 years and get myself into debt, it's got to be for something that's worth it. So that's why I did engineering. Anyway, so I was getting sort of towards about 30ish, and I've been in an engineering career for about 4 or 5 years. Probably less than that actually, because I had about 5 years out of after uni. Anyway, so I was getting sort of to about 30, and I realised, right, this is, I know how to make money. I've done a few things, but this is where I need to start getting serious now, and I want to build financial security for myself. The reason being is I just thought, well, if I've got enough money to do what I want, and I've got time to do what I want when I want, then that's a great place to be. So that's what the aim was. So over the next sort of 2, 3, even up to 5 years really, I tried lots of different things. So I did a little bit of property, did a lot of online marketing. I've got into trading and investing, things like that. So the list goes on. Like, you know, over that period of time, I did a lot of things. They call it chasing the shiny penny, or the shiny penny syndrome, which is where you're doing something and then something else looks great, so you want to start doing that. Anyway, about 4 years ago, I was doing some internet marketing. Got a free ticket to a big internet marketing seminar in Thailand. So I was working with a company, and I was getting decent results, nothing major, but they gave me a free ticket to this seminar. Had to pay for my flights, but I got a free ticket anyway. So I thought, yeah, I'll go along. Met some really good people there, made some really good contacts. About a year after that, I'd set up something with a group of people that I'd met there, and in about 3 or 4 months that really sort of took off, and I was at the point where I was making, within about 3 or 4 months of starting this thing, I was at the point where I was making more from that than I was from engineering, and I was getting like notifications every time I got a commission come through, and I was literally sitting at work and just getting these commissions. Few weeks after that, I was like, by the time I'd gone home from the day job, I'd already earned more from sitting there doing nothing, because this was all quite passive income as well. It was like, you know, set a system up, let it run, starts paying you out. Anyway, I was getting very close to the point where I was going to go to my boss and have that lovely conversation where I was going to tell him where to go. Luckily, I didn't, because what do you think happened? All went. So a few different reasons, what I won't go into, but yeah, basically, you know, the whole thing crashed. So one day, great, next day, gone. So as you can imagine, I was a bit gutted, but at the same time, quite happy I hadn't told my boss. Quite happy that I still had the day job as well. So that's where I was. Anyway, at that point, obviously pretty disappointed, but I also realised, like, look, I've got a lot of knowledge, a lot of experience, I've got a lot of contacts, I can move forward in a good way. But at the same time, I thought, before I start doing anything, because at this point, when I was making that money as well over that few months, I let everything else slip. I was like, this is it, I've made it, you know, I'm not going to do anything else. So when that crashed, I was literally like, with the day job, but other than that, and I still had a couple of properties as well, but other than that, like all the online business, everything had stopped. So at this point anyway, I thought, well, I definitely want to do something, but before I do anything, I'm going to decide what it is I want to do, because I've made myself unhappy by doing all this stuff. So like the irony is, I wanted time and money freedom, but I was spending all my spare time and all my spare money trying to earn more money, so it was kind of counterproductive. So anyway, so I was like, right, I've got to decide what I want to do. So anyway, long story short, I've done a lot of personal development anyway, went on a little bit of a journey with that, and I realised that that's what I want to do. I really enjoy that, I really enjoy helping people, and I want to coach people. And even before that, when I was doing the online marketing and stuff, I always knew that once I get successful at making money, I was always going to show other people how to do the same. That was the plan. But obviously to do that in terms of wealth creation, you need to be good at making the money before you can teach people. So, you know, like I say, I know lots of ways of making money, but really for me now it's about the mindset and about happiness, and that's really where my passion lies. So that's why I'm stood in front of you today. That's basically why I'm here. Does that make sense as well? Cool. So like really, to put it quite simply, and we'll go through a little process in a minute as to how potentially you guys and girls, just does anybody mind if I say guys? I don't know if it's a Brummie thing, but when I say guys, that's everybody. So otherwise I'll be like guys and girls all day long. So if nobody's offended, I'll just, you know, if guys comes out, I won't feel too bad. Anyway, yeah, so the point is now I get paid for basically learning more and developing myself more in personal development. And I also get paid for helping other people, but most importantly, I get paid to talk to people. I quite like talking to people. So when we come on to this in a minute, it's about understanding what are your passions, what do you like doing, and it's as easy as just trying to match them up. Because in all honesty, there's literally loads of ways to earn money in this world. Like nobody needs to be feeling like they're stuck doing anything. Like we live in a time where there is the most opportunity there ever has been, even in the middle of a pandemic. Like there really is. Cool. So again, before I go any further as well, obviously you guys have all noticed I asked a lot of questions, yeah? Is anybody getting bored with the questions? No? Cool. So, ask another question. Does anybody know why I'm doing that? Any ideas why I'm asking you so many questions? 100%, yes. Keep you engaged. So, what's the benefit of that?
Because we're going to take on board what you're saying. We're already just saying
100%, yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much the main thing. So it's to keep you engaged, so that you learn more, but retain more information as well. Another big reason as well is so I would normally say a happy life, but we'll say we're going to talk about goals today. So goals and dreams, and like I say, this is pretty much everything in life, and life itself requires something. Now, what do you think it requires? Any guesses? And again, guys, with all of this, just don't worry if you say something that you think is stupid or anything. Just the more interaction, the better at this point. And again, so I want interaction, I want you guys to learn more, and I want you to obviously, you know, guess things. If I ask questions, put your hands up. So all of that, what does all that entail, or what does that bring to this session? So let me put it to you like this, if I had just stood there today and come up the front and said, hi guys, my name's Richard Morgan, and I'm going to talk to you all today about happiness and how important it is to be happy, and I've got like 70 PowerPoint slides, and we're going to look through them, and it's going to be great. I'm going to talk about it, and you're all going to learn lots, and you're going to have a great day. Who's excited? Who's engaged?
Nobody's buying into it.
Yeah. Okay. So who's going to stay awake for 3 hours if I talk like that? Who's going to fall asleep? Okay. So what am I bringing into the room then?
Enthusiasm.
Perfect. Energy. So basically, goals and dreams require energy. Like I said, life requires energy. Quite simply, if you haven't got any energy, you're dead, aren't you? So life requires energy. Like I said, a happy life requires energy. If you want a happy life, if you want to build a good life, it requires energy, doesn't it? Does everybody agree with that? Another big thing that requires energy is learning, which is again why I want to get people engaged today. Obviously, the more energy you've got while you're learning, the more you take in, and the more that you will remember in the future as well. That's again why participation exercises, all that sort of stuff, because it really kind of gets the knowledge inside your head. And also, all of this, what we're doing with the goal setting and everything as well, it's not just about understanding something, it's about like feeling the energy behind it as well, and having the emotions. So emotions are very, very powerful things, and emotions is basically, it's called emotion, it's energy in motion. So emotion is energy that's within us. So the best way to put that is if we're really excited or happy, we've got a lot of energy, and that's a high energy emotion. And if we're all depressed and down, then that's a very low energy emotion. So again, the highest energy wins. And even in sales as well, they say in a sales situation, the person with the highest energy wins. Now the best way to look at that is who's got kids. Okay, and even if you haven't got kids, if you're in a situation with a kid, and that child wants something, and they've got more energy than you, who's going to usually win?
True.
Yeah?
So true.
So remember that, if you're ever in a situation where you want an outcome and you're in a debate or a whatever you want to call it with another person, like an interaction with another person, generally if you want the outcome that you desire, generally the highest energy wins in most situations. Now that's most, obviously not all. But does that make sense anyway? Oh, brilliant. Alright then, well like I say, we're going to cover the goals very shortly, but before we do, I just wanted to touch on wealth creation as well. So, don't want to influence your goal setting process later, but obviously, you know, as Ali's said, a big objective we want to get here really is to get all of you guys to understand that there is other options. So we're not saying give up your job and do something else, but there's other ways you can earn money while you've got a job. There's other ways you can earn the money you're earning now to build an additional income. So what I'm going to show you now is, anybody ever heard of Robert Kiyosaki? Has anybody ever seen that book, Rich Dad Poor Dad? Yeah? Okay, so some have, some haven't. That's a very famous book in terms of business development and wealth creation. So if you haven't read that, I would definitely suggest it. I mean, for those that have read it, do you think it's a good book?
It's the Bible.
It's a brilliant book.
You've got to read that book.
So
they should have given it to every student in their first year.
They should, and they should be teaching this to everybody as well. So this is another big thing as well. You don't get taught anything about money management, money creation in school. You don't get taught about mindset. You don't get taught about creating habits and setting goals. School is basically just designed to turn you into a little robot employee, basically.
Big box exercise.
Yeah, that's well. I haven't got time to go into it today, but there is actually a scientific sort of reason why schools are the way they are, and without going into details and depths, it's basically revolves around the world wars and recruiting people for being soldiers, and also recruiting people to be workers in factories.
In capitalist systems, yeah. We're just proletarian.
We are, and unfortunately, the majority of people think that the education system is really there to empower us and serve us and to help us to be the best we can be. It's really not. Like I say, I don't want to get into that because otherwise I'll be here all day. But like I said anyway, so Robert, brilliant book. But another thing that another book he's got, and one of the systems he uses to teach people is what's called the cash flow quadrant. So I'm sure the people that have read the book probably know about this. But anyway, the cash flow quadrant, and I'm just going to skim through this money bit really quickly now. I just want to do a quick time check. What time did we start? You know?
I checked
Half.
it was 3:30.
Was it about 3:30? So we're already 4 minutes in. Okay, so I'm going to try and stick to 3 hours, so we'll go to 6:30. I think Ali said if anybody needs to go, don't worry, do you know what I mean? But obviously I'm going to try and fly through the money creation bit quite quickly, because we're going to cover that in more depth at another time, but this is really just to give you some ideas. So the cash flow quadrant, in fact, doing a test with those of you that have seen it before.
Employee. He's employee.
He's employee. So basically this cash flow quadrant, there's 4 sections, and it's the 4 main ways to earn money, as told by Robert Kiyosaki, and to be honest, it's a great way to explain it. So employee, obviously you're employed by somebody else, you get paid a wage, you basically swap in time for money. That makes sense to everybody. obviously probably the most common way that people earn money. Nothing wrong with it at all. You know, jobs are great, having an income is great, being able to support yourself, being able to support your family. Absolutely nothing wrong with having a job. In terms of wealth creation and having an abundance of money, who thinks that you've got a good chance of becoming a millionaire from having a job? Cool. What's the S stand for?
Savings? No?
Nah. So these are all types of. So let me put the other letters up and it will jog your memory.
Success?
Nah. Well, it doesn't stand for that, but it's a good thing that an S could stand for.
B is businessman, I is investor.
Yeah. So what would S be then? You'll know it as soon as you hear it. You probably get it anyway. Well, no. I won't.
Sales, but it's not.
Nah, I won't. Well, let me put it like this. So if you've got a business, and a business in this term has more than one person, a bigger business, so what would an S maybe be?
Oh,
I'll give it you because you know it anyway. Self-employed.
oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah. So self-employed is basically the step between being a business owner and being an employee. So self-employed is basically you have got a business, but in reality it's not a business because you are the business. If you stop working, the business stops working. Like the definition of a business is it has systems in place so that the business owner doesn't have to actually be there. If a business requires the owner to be in the business and active, it's not in terms of having a business system. It's not. So you look at like really successful people. So like say somebody like Elon Musk and he's got like SpaceX and Tesla and all this stuff. Like, there's no way he can do what he, and he's got multiple other companies as well, I think, and people like Richard Branson and all those people, they've got multiple businesses, so there's no way they can be active in all those businesses. All the businesses run themselves, and they're just basically the person with the ideas or the person that's making things happen. In terms of self-employed, like I say, you are really still employed because, as the name suggests, you're employing yourself. You're still swapping time for money in a respect. You can set systems up in here to help you. Like I said earlier, with the online business I was doing, like there was a bit of a team, but really I was self-employed. The job I'm doing now, potentially, I am self-employed, but there is certain things I can do to set systems up as well. But anyway, like I said, I don't want to waffle too much at this point. So that's everybody gets the point of that. I think we've probably covered business as well. So the I, as Ali said, investor. So really, on the right-hand side here, this is where things get interesting because does everybody know what the word leverage means? Is there anybody that
No,
doesn't
they
know?
need to know that. It took me a while to understand that.
Okay, cool. So what leverage means is it means that you're using something else to benefit yourself. So in terms of a business, you're leveraging other people's time and energy. So you're paying somebody a wage, but to make the business work, that person that you're paying has to bring in more value than you're paying them. Because otherwise, if you're paying them more than they're bringing in, or more than the value they're bringing, then your business is going to fail. Does that make sense? Cool. So in a business, you're leveraging other people's time and other people's energy. In an investment, you're leveraging money. So obviously rich people say making money work for you. So an investment is that your money is creating money for you, whether you work or not. So this side, this is where, if you want to create large amounts of wealth, the right's where you want to be, because that's where you get to leverage. On the left, you're basically only working with your own efforts. So you go to a job, you do what you do, you get paid. With a self-employed business, you're basically only leveraging your own activities. Does that make sense with everyone?
Yeah.
Cool. Now, so obviously when I talk about leverage, if one side of this was going to be passive income, which side is it going to be?
Right.
Passive.
Passive. Yeah, it's the right. So passive basically just means that you can get paid even if you're not working. So obviously with a business, like what is that like? Yeah,
NHS yeah, at the moment, yeah. May I interject for a second?
Which can, yeah.
Because again, passive income means you get paid even though you're not physically working, but it doesn't mean you don't have to work for it. Okay, so unfortunately, in the beginning, people think that you can just do one or two small things and that's it. You're going to be a millionaire for life, and money's just going to roll in. But no, it's about investing some of your time, but intelligently with leverage, so that you can earn money, but at a faster rate than selling your time for money, basically.
Exactly that. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and that's spot on. And like you said, it's not passive in the beginning. So obviously, if you're going to start a business, like a business takes a lot of work to build and get going and to get it profitable. And even once a business is profitable, even though you might not need to work in every day, you know, as a responsible business owner, you need to maintain your business. So it's not passive in terms of you don't have to do anything. It just means you're not swapping time for money. Now, this is probably where you get the most passive of incomes, but obviously to get a good investment or get a good return on investment, you need to have a good amount invested. So, you know, you're either going to be very lucky and born into wealth or win the lottery and then you can invest, or you have to work hard to get the money to invest. So that makes sense to everyone, yeah?
But
So,
sorry to interject.
no, keep going, mate. Honestly, yeah.
I think the most important message is that you can be E and you can be I at the same time. You can be E and have a bit of B. You can be E and, you know, so you can be any one of those things while still having an income producing normal job that you can use a small amount of that income from a normal job to build wealth for yourselves. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely.
So they don't suddenly quit.
No worries. And this is, and you know,
everybody's looking at the door like, when
this
is where it's going.
Well, on the next one we'll talk about that, but this is what I'm saying, that these guys putting this on for you like, is really good, because, you know, realistically, a boss would normally be like, I don't want my employees to know this stuff, do you know what I mean? But the fact that they want you to see this, they want all of you to improve your life in the way that you want. So they're not suggesting that anybody needs to improve their life. But like we said at the start, with happiness, if you want more, you know, the option is you get more or less, you can't stay the same. But in life, we don't really ever stay the same. We're always growing or the other way. So in reality, we're not saying that there's anything wrong with anyone's lives and that you should strive for more or anything like that. But all we're saying is that if your life's going to change and it's either going to get better or worse, do you want it to get better or worse? It's as simple as that, isn't it? So this side here is active. And that obviously means that you are working, putting your time, your energy, your effort in. One other type of income to mention at this point is what's called royalty income. So does anybody, or who thinks they know what royalty income means?
The guys making money off of records from the 70s and stuff like that.
That's a very good one. Yes, that's a brilliant example. So does everybody understand that?
I wouldn't go royalty, but yeah, I get it.
So yeah, I'll just that was spot on anyway. So
we
like
can have one hit, right, and it just generates money every
The
year.
rest of your life.
One
Seriously,
song.
just one song, a bit like
People do.
what's her name?
I think
Yeah, I
the people that
One
work
hit
at
wonder
the-
girl, what's her name? Got her name.
I think you know the Friends theme tune. I think the people
Yeah.
that wrote that were basically one
No,
wonder,
yeah,
multi-millionaires, weren't they?
Yeah.
And I think Simon Cowell started off with like Mr. Blobby or something stupid like
Yeah,
that.
that girl Natalie Imbruglia, one hit wonder.
Natalie, what was that?
Torn.
Torn, yeah.
Yeah, she makes buckets of money off that song.
Yeah. And what's the Christmas ones? Well, you get all the people that have done the Christmas songs. Do you know what I mean? And they basically live off that all year. They don't
If
ever
anyone
have to
knows
work
an
ever
instrument,
But so with royalties though, like Adam said, so it could be music, it could also be art, it could be anything, it could be books. So you know, obviously authors make books, film stars or directors, when the films get sold, they're getting little bits. Another kind of royalty could be something like franchises as well. So if you create something of value and other people want to use that so they can make money, then they have to pay you like a franchise fee or a royalty fee. And that's basically because you own the rights to that thing and they want to use it, so obviously they've got to pay. So this is just some ideas. Now, I was going to ask you before this, I haven't influenced anything too much, but the first thing I want you to write down in terms of exercises is just write down. So just going to, first of all, call it as is in, so just telling it as it is. Obviously this year, 2020, has been pretty crap for most people, and does everyone agree with that?
Yeah.
For most people, I'm going to be honest, not for everybody, so got a big smile on my face when I say this, but it's been great for me, I'm going to be fully honest. So I've been working from home, it's given me loads of time to work on my business, and I've not had anybody in my life that's been personally affected with COVID or anything like that. So really, for me, it's been great. But the fact is, for most people, it hasn't, and I understand that. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of people who lost jobs. There's a lot of people that have either been ill or had friends and family. But anyway, so 2020 wasn't that great for most people. Most people started, they were like, new decade, 2020, year of perfect vision and all that, and it all went wrong pretty quickly. But so what I want you to do now is just have 1 or 2 minutes just to write down a big goal that you want to achieve next year, something that you think is really going to make a big difference to your life. And if this goal's got to be for you, so it's nothing to do with being, working here, but just like I say, I'll give you a minute starting from now, and I might be generous and give you more time if you need it. About 10 seconds left. Does anybody need a bit more time, or you all good?
All good.
All good? Right then. So just put that to the side for now anyway. We'll have a look at that in a little bit. But everybody's got a goal, yeah?
Mhm.
Brilliant. So the next thing I'm going to do now is, what I'm drawing is something which I call the pillars of wealth. And it's going to lead on from the cash flow quadrant which we just saw. I'm going to need to open a new set of pens as well. If anybody starts struggling to see anything, let us know. In fact, I'll open it. Some fresh ones. So in terms of the cash flow quadrant then, we had four quadrants. We had the E, the S, the B and the I. On here there's only 3 columns. So the first column is the thing, this is the way that most people earn a living. So throw a word out, what do you think that could be?
Job.
A job, perfect. So this is covering the E in the cash flow quadrant, so employee or job. Now the second column, so we've got, I'll kind of give you a bit of a clue, so you've got S and B. I should have said on the other slide really, but for a self-employed person, just to simplify things, does everybody agree that we can call that a business? Yeah. So S and B, what do you think the second column might be?
Business.
Cool. So what would that leave the third one to be?
Investment.
Exactly, investing. So this up here is what we all want. We agreed. This is something, again, it's like happiness, If somebody says, do you want more or less money? There's only one answer, isn't there? Do you want more or less security? There's only one answer. Say again?
Yeah,
There's only,
clear.
yeah, you would have to worry about the person that says, I don't want either of those things. So obviously this is what we want, and now we're going to support this with ways of creating wealth. Now also, we need to have a strong foundation. Now obviously, as I'm a mindset coach, I'm going to be very biased and say that for me, mindset is very important. So that's the difference between being positive and saying, yes, I can do this, and yes, I can achieve it, and when the hard times come, that you are positive in terms of pushing forward. Obviously with a negative mindset, you're going to give up when the first hardship comes along. So something goes wrong, or you can't do something, or you get a bit stuck. Give up. It's not that important anyway, is it? Got a bit of money, I'm eating food, I'm doing what I need to do. Don't need to worry. So the next thing is, so I'm just going to put that, but that stands for knowledge. So we need knowledge, obviously, with a job you need a knowledge, because otherwise no one's going to employ you. To start a business you need knowledge, to invest you need knowledge, otherwise you're going to lose all your money very quickly. So does everybody agree with that? It's a fundamental. And another big thing is you need, so that stands for experience. So without experience, you can learn all day long. Without experience, so obviously you guys are dentists, you can go to dental school all day long, but when do you actually start learning how to do something to someone's mouth?
When you
20,
actually do
20
it.
years later.
Yeah, when you're actually doing the practice, yeah? So you're getting experience. Now, the really big thing to understand here is both of these things, you only get them from doing action. So you can't learn unless you do. Now, people say, oh, well, you can learn by learning. Obviously, learn by learning, but that's an action of learning, isn't it? So you're still doing something. Even if you're not physically doing something, you're still learning. So you only ever learn when you take action, and you only ever get experience when you take action. Is that fair to say? So really, this is how simple it is to make money, guys. Like, it really is as simple, is believe that you can do it, and be positive, and when the bad things come up, like, see that it's a learning point, not a failure, see it as an opportunity to get better. So that mindset is all about, like, just basically keep going, because nobody gets anything that easily in life. And if you do get things easily in life, it's not a good thing because you've learned nothing. The people that struggle at the start of their career are the people that generally fly. The people that get things going very easily are the ones that struggle later on. So like I say, mindset's key, and then just do it. Whatever it is you want to do, just do it. And it's that easy. Understand what you want to do, believe you can do it, and just try it, and fail as many times as you can, as early as you can. Fail forward, that's, you know, a saying that a lot of people talk about. So it is, like I say, in terms of doing something, it is literally as easy as just do it. Like Nike says, just do it. There's the JFDI one as well, which I prefer. But anyway, and leading on from what Ali was saying before, so you can have a job. Now, if this is all you've got at the moment, what's stopping you from finding out? What is it that you enjoy doing? What's stopping you from just doing something to get some knowledge and some skills and some experience? And if you're earning some money from a job, what's stopping you to invest? So you can invest with very small amounts of money. If you haven't got a large amount of additional income, you can start very little. And to be honest, when you're investing, it's better to start with very little, because you want to learn how to invest, you want to learn how to trade or whatever it is that you're doing. Because believe me, a lot of people lose a lot of money very quickly.
How little, Richard? Tell them how little.
It depends what you're looking at. I mean, investing in stocks and shares, you can get very cheap stocks and shares, you can get penny stocks and things like that. So, you literally could have a tenner and start investing. In terms of trading, with the stocks and shares, obviously you get very expensive stocks and shares as well. So if you want to buy stocks in Tesla or something like that, you're not going to start off with a tenner. But investing and things like that, and trading, I'd say if you, I don't know, a couple of
£100 a month, maybe.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you start putting money into an account, yeah, you put 50 quid a month or something would be like loads to just start something, just so that again, it's just getting this and this. But for me, trading, I started with about 1,000. That's realistically probably, if you're going to go into trading, so the difference between investing and trading, investing is you're buying and holding a stock and waiting for the price to go up, hopefully go up, obviously could go down. Trading is you're basically betting on the price of that stock. So when you're trading, you can potentially come in with a lot less, but realistically I'd say you could go in with less than £1,000 definitely, but if you've got 1,000, that's a really good place to start a good trading account. Obviously the more you've got, great, but at the same time, if you start with 5 or 10 grand and you blow your account, you've lost 5 or 10 grand instead of £1,000. And when it comes to trading, most people do blow their accounts a few times. So if you decide you want to start doing that, I would say start very, very light. And you can have demo accounts as well. You don't even need money to learn how to do this.
Does everybody know what trading means? Does everybody know what he's talking about?
Kind of, no.
You know what he means?
Yeah, a lot of my friends
Yeah?
do that on Bitcoins and stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so just to clarify then, so all trading is like I said, with stocks and shares, I think most people understand what a stock is, yeah? So it's like you're basically owning a part of a business or a company. So with investing, you're actually buying that share. With trading, you're betting the price move. So basically, a share's worth so much, and with trading, you're not buying the stock. You're just saying, well, I bet the price is going to go up, or the price is going to go down. So actually, if a stock falls in price in trading, you can still make money because you're betting that the price will go down. Does that make sense? They call it spread betting, and in all honesty,
It is betting.
it's betting.
Yeah.
It's gambling.
It's gambling.
It is, because there's only so much, even with all the knowledge and all the experience of the markets.
It's a bit of luck.
Yeah, well, the market's going to do what it wants to do.
Happens,
There's only so, you know, you can analyse, you could do the perfect analysis on a stock, and you could be like, every single thing is going to, you know, all the indicators are showing that this thing's going to go up, and it's definitely going to go up, and then you put your money in and it goes down, and you're like, what happens? Do you know what I mean? But that's the game. Trading, you will never win everything, like it's impossible. It is gambling, basically. It's like educated gambling. That's probably a good way to put it.
But why would you get money from guessing
It's called
if it goes
shorting.
up
What you
and
do,
down?
well, you it's like placing a bet. Like this team is going to lose.
Yeah.
Like when you play football, when you bet on football, you can bet that the team is going to lose.
Yeah, but that's because people are betting the other way. But why would you
Because
bet?
there's always
No,
somebody
you
betting
can
either
actually
way.
bet your money that the team is going to lose.
Yeah.
So in spread betting, you can bet that the price is going to drop. And what happens is that they lend you the value of what you're paying. You borrow the money. You borrow the sale price. I'll tell you about it later.
So it's exactly what you said. Is you've got to have somebody to bet against,
Yeah.
and that's exactly the same. Because at a bookie, if you're going to go and bet on a football game, like the bookie is taking the other side of the bet. So if you win, the bookie loses money. If the bookie wins, you lost your money. And it's the same thing with this. You put a bet on to say, for example, Tesla's going to go down, and if Tesla goes up, then I've lost money. So for every point it moves, I'll lose however much. So I could bet £1 a point, or £10 a point, or £100 a point. So every time, and a point's like a price move, so it could be either 10 pence move or a pound move, depends on the value of the stock. So does that kind of make sense? Like I said, I don't want to go too in depth with this. This was just to kind
It's
of.
just silly, but it's actually, it happens. A couple of years ago, it's like, who's gonna die from the famous people? They put a list. So in my work, they put down 10 names. It's silly, but it's business.
Wow.
That's business.
Betting on people dying.
Yeah.
Deadpool, mate.
Yes.
Great film, that is. I love it.
Wow.
So, before we move on to the goal setting,
Is no one, is he Manchester?
No, let's switch on the heating. Are you guys like cold? Am I just the only one that's cold?
And we need to bring the table here.
Everyone
the
should
table.
have-
Jackie's sat next to us, I'm not sure. Are you full?
I'm not full.
So would you like?
But I am wearing a jumper and I'm wearing I don't know what else to wear.
Is anyone else cold?
Again, I'm not warm, but
Okay.
I'm not.
Where's the air conditioning diesel?
what are them little things there?
Food.
Interesting.
You might as well.
I'll wait until after I will. As well as I'll be splitting food at everybody. What are they? Little cages or
Salmon parcels, or smoked salmon thingy things.
Look good.
If it gets too warm,
I'll
because you'll.
There's not like sushi without
I'll just
sauce.
Yeah, I'll have to, mate.
You do your thing and then pass it on.
Who wants to keep it?
All good.
Are we all gonna answer?
Say again.
Are we all gonna answer the question?
Wow. So this is, like I say, this really is just to give you something to think about when we go into the goal setting. So like I said earlier, when I really thought about what do I want to do, and I came up with coaching, I kind of knew that I always wanted to do that anyway. But it is, there's other processes that you can follow which are a lot more complicated than this. But I don't think you really need to worry about that. For me, it's as simple as this. If you struggle to find something you want to do using this, then like I say, there's other methods of finding passion-based income streams which would suit you. But these two questions really, it's as simple as what is it that you love? What do you love doing in life, or what is it that you really enjoy in terms of passions, and then what do you actually enjoy doing? And it's just matching them up. So, for example, like what are your passions? So I'll start writing a few things out, but if you guys want to participate and shout out, you know what. So I'll write the first thing is, you know, most people
Baking.
like food.
Yeah, baking.
Baking, brilliant. So food's a passion. So I like cars. Like I say, just shout anything out if you want.
For me, it's helping people. Yeah. Oh, yeah. For me, it's helping people.
Helping.
Helping people.
Yeah, brilliant. That's a great one. So
Chucking.
that's.
No, I was going to do baking and that because I like doing that. I do it for charity. I
Reading.
eat for charity.
How about this one?
Knitting.
Who likes one of
I eat
these?
for charity.
Holiday.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, I love skiing. So is there anything anybody else particularly who loves doing? So another big one for me is I spoke a lot about personal development. Obviously that's something
Improving.
I actually am passionate about it.
Improving. Yeah.
Yeah. So but it's not. It is all about improving, but I actually really enjoy learning and you know.
I come from the training industry, so I understand.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously
You
being a
just help us
trainer.
naturally. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're a
yeah.
trainer now.
So another big thing that people are passionate about is
Fitness. Yeah, fitness. is
health and
big.
fitness. Another big thing I really, if I spent all day long with dogs, I would be the happiest person in the world. So,
Wow.
I can't. I'm scared.
but it's you know whatever's for you. But you might be different. You might love cats. You might love. Some people love fish. Do you know what I mean? Not like you can take them out and stroke them and stuff, but some
Yeah,
people.
some
like
people do.
Hey Julia with her snakes.
Yeah, Julia, one of the hygienas, she's got snakes.
Yeah.
Some of them venomous.
Actually, real snakes.
Really? Yeah. See,
Big
and
ones.
so she's obviously got a passion, and that's the sort of thing. Like when somebody owns multiple snakes, you know what their passion is. Do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah, I know,
either-
but she's still.
Not,
She doesn't
not
like them. She likes
great
them.
lover of them now.
Oh, I
It's
thought
not
she
like
liked
that
them.
with her.
But she puts up with it though. Tolerate. Fair play. So just quickly anyway, you can see very quickly, you can just get a list of stuff you like. Now, it doesn't have to be a big list. You might literally have 2 or 3 things that you love, and you just like, right, I love food,
Traveling.
shopping, and that's it. Like, you know, I'm not interested in anything else other than clothes and food. And how many things can you do with clothes and food to earn money? It's like, you know, you only need one. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so now you've got things that you like doing, so now what is it you want to do? So I'll give you a little starter with some ideas. So for example, a lot of people like to be creative. So like we said before, you know, that could be writing books, could write books, you could write articles for magazines, you could be a copywriter. You know, there's lots of different ways that you can write and create money from it. Another thing that you can do is, you've all saw I brought my music stand.
Yes.
So some people music and singing. Other people might love doing video, so that could be video creation, video editing. I like watching YouTube
I can
videos.
see you there. Yeah, with your vlogs and stuff.
Who's that?
Do you do
Air Crush is hiding.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
you're a
she vlogs.
you're a vlogger.
You do look on your face, I
Yeah,
can do it.
Don't be
No, I
embarrassed,
want to do
there's nothing-
YouTube, but not right now.
Yeah, and why
Yeah.
not?
Why not?
I don't know.
You can
What
do
you
that.
wanna do?
That's the whole point.
Listen to the man, listen to the man.
That's the whole point.
Just
Why not?
so when we said before on the other one, the way to do anything is just to know what you want to
Put
do,
your mind
believe you can do it, and just start doing it. Like just a quick question: what's stopping you from doing it?
I'm a bit scared. I'm a bit shy. Like a lot of my friends do like Instagram influencers, and like YouTube and makeup and all this stuff. But I don't know. I'm a bit shy. I don't know.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about that in a bit, but fear is the biggest thing that holds anybody back. Fear of lots of things, but fear of
Yeah.
what other people are going to think, fear of failure. Some people have a fear of success as well. But we'll talk about that later, but you know.
You could do a vlog on here, about here, about your job.
Yeah.
Why
You
not?
literally
Experiencing new.
My boss is not.
You probably get a lot of followers.
Don't
with,
get
with a vlog titled that, you get a lot of followers.
Just don't include patient's data.
Yeah, no patient data.
So
but anything
Mr.
else that we
X,
know.
but
Okay.
don't.
But yeah, we'll talk about that later anyway, but you definitely, if that's the only reason you're not doing it, this is kind of half of why I'm the coach, because this is, you know, I help people to take that step and to put the fear to the side, because put it this way, if you let fear control your life and you let fear stop you from doing things, you're basically allowing yourself to not live the life that you deserve. Does that make sense? And what's the worst, just another thing, what's the worst that could happen? So you're scared of whatever it is, like what's the worst that could happen?
Nothing really, no.
Exactly. You
No.
just don't get 100 likes.
So do you know what, we'll come on to this later, but a big thing with fear as well, so this is like a mindset thing and the way our minds work. I'll briefly touch on this because we're going to talk about it later, but really our brains are wired because we've evolved. So obviously we've got, you know, it could be the religious side and everything, but I think most people understand that we've evolved as a species, you know, through thousands or a lot more years, depending on your beliefs. But our brains are basically wired up the way they are because up until about 100 years ago, we had a lot of things to worry about. So there was things that could eat us, things that would go wrong. And our brains are basically, it's like we've got our own little personal bodyguard in our head, and whatever we're doing, there's always this little voice that's going, don't do that, it's going to go wrong, don't do that, you might get hurt, don't do that, you're going to look stupid. And all these things, there's a reason why. So the looking stupid is because, like, before we had the civilisations we have now, we used to be like tribal, and if you were part of a tribe and you were seen to be different or whatever, if you were outcasted from that tribe, your chances of survival were reduced, or basically you didn't, you know, you aren't going to survive for very long. So like the whole thing for being accepted and being worried about judgment and stuff, that's just natural. It happens to us all. You've got nothing to worry about. It is just 100% natural, and that's like a defensive mechanism, so that we don't do something stupid, so everybody hates us, so we get ousted and basically die. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So I just wanted to say that. So with fear, like our subconscious is basically wired to protect us in any way it can. And do you know what the best way to protect you is? To make you sit at home in your bed watching Netflix, eating junk food all day and never leave your house. That's the safest place for you to be. And that's why
life, mate. That's life.
yeah, and that's why so many people struggle with life at the moment. Well, phone, and this is, and do you know what? This is the other dream. People, I want to earn all this money so I can do what I want to do. What do you want to do? I want to watch Netflix 24 hours a day.
Makeup and
That's basically it. But like, we are wired to put ourselves in as much safety as possible at all times. So we're now in a
and use the least energy possible.
and that's
Spend the
yes,
least
and that's
energy.
the other one as well. Expend the least energy, put yourself in the least danger. So we live in a society where you can go to the shop and buy
not
a
when
week.
you're young though.
Say again.
Not when you're young.
Okay, so there's a different. So you get obviously we are also
Not
wired to
fearful.
push out and explore, and this is another reason why people, as they get older, get more
Change,
fearful.
Yeah.
Because again, it's about experience. So when you were a little kid, like a little kid just doesn't, you know, they're trying to get
Doesn't
knives off
recognise
the
it,
counter
yeah.
and stick their hand in a fire or something stupid. Like, they don't know, do they? But as we get older and the more experience we get of things that hurt us or things going wrong, or being in a class and you say the wrong answer and everyone laughs at you, and then you go, right, I'm never fucking answering it. Pardon my language. So just quickly, does anybody mind about swearing? Am I going to offend anyone? Cool. I'm not planning on starting to swear loads, but just someone,
It's
if you want to,
recording,
in
you sure
case.
you want to have it?
It's all good. It's all good. Yeah, yeah. I just won't show that.
Just beep it.
Just beep it out, yeah. But does all that make sense anyway?
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. All right then. Right, I'm going to get on with this because otherwise I'm probably going to keep you a bit longer. So just there's lots of other ways to be creative, and a lot of people love being creative. Another big thing, and this is definitely getting bigger at the moment, due to obviously has everybody heard that we're living in the information age?
Yeah.
Yeah, so obviously there's information about everything and it's all at our fingertips. Basically with the internet, if you want to learn something, you can go and learn it. So there's a massive industry around knowledge sharing now. We're in an information age, but does that guarantee that all the information is good?
No.
So there's a lot more crap information than there is good information. Does everyone agree with that?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that think they know what they're talking about and they're happy to put videos and write articles, and realistically they're saying the complete
It's not
wrong
true.
things. Yeah, yeah, they're literally saying the opposite is true. So in terms of knowledge sharing, we can teach people, we can coach and mentor And the reason why these things exist is because, for example, teaching and coaching is people are willing to pay money to get to a good source of information without looking through a load of rubbish first. Another thing that we can do as well, which in terms of like leveraging, is we can create what's called info products. So that's basically where we're teaching somebody, but without having to put our time in. So we've created like a video course maybe or something like that. So again, you can see that, you know, some of these things can all mix up as well. So you've got like info products, you could either have a written one or a video one or whatever it is. So you can start sort of overlapping some of these things. So like I say, there's lots of different ways that you can share information. I'm going to struggle for room, so you'll have to bear with me. It's obviously the different colours should make it easier to read. So what does that say?
Build a community.
So everybody's heard of influencing? Cool, so that's a big business nowadays. For some reason, people want to follow other people. And with the internet, if you can get a following, you're not restricted to a local following, it's a global thing, so people can have millions and millions of followers, you know, like the really big ones. And obviously everybody can start somewhere. But the point of this is obviously we're trying to make money, so we want to build a community. We want to make money, don't we? So build a community of people who want to buy from us. Now, just a quick thing about this. So a big thing for me when I was an engineer, I'd never sold to a person. So I had quite a big block in terms of asking somebody to pay me for a personal service. And for a lot of people that haven't done that, that's a big block. And also people that don't sell, there's a big mental block there. But in terms of this, let me ask you this. So you've got a passion, something that you're passionate about. You're passionate enough to build a community, whether that's a Facebook page or an Instagram page or a website, whatever it is. So you've built this community and you've got followers. Now, would you say it's fair to say that they're following you because they share that passion?
Yes.
Yeah, so you've got a passion, they're sharing that passion, they're following you, so you're obviously giving them something of value that they're going to follow you. And then you create something, a product of some description that is addressing that passion. And if you create a product that gives good value, is it fair to say there's a good chance that some of the people in that community might buy that product?
Yeah.
Cool. So the thing with this is when you, if you say again, sorry?
I was going to say, or you can direct them to other products with affiliate.
Yeah, so that's another thing we'll come on to, but affiliates definitely, because you, exactly, that's a brilliant way of doing it, is you don't even need to create your own product. You can create a community about something, and there's going to be, yeah, but there's going to be loads of other products out there that address that thing. And just as Ali's mentioned, you know, affiliate marketing is basically selling other people's products but getting a commission. So if you just want to build the community and put posts out, you can do that and just put affiliate links in, people buy stuff and you just get commissions. So you don't even have to create anything. So yeah, great point. But anyway, I just want to really stress that because a lot of people get scared about selling. And I know you said already you've got worries or fears about even just building the community. When it comes to selling, believe me, the little voice is going to be going again. So the last thing really is business. So obviously, you know, business is a term for a vehicle or a model that we use to make money. I did mention before on the other slide as well, but obviously traditionally, like businesses, jobs and investments are all done offline. With the addition to the internet, everything can be done online now, so you can have a job online. Obviously there's businesses online that need people to do things. They'll pay you money, same thing, swap money for time. You can also start an online business or you can invest online. But what I would say in terms of online or offline at the moment with Corona, the pandemic, and also just the way the world's moving, is if you can start online, much lower overheads, a million reasons why online's better. You've got a much bigger reach in terms of potential customers, in terms of marketing and advertising, you've got a lot more options. So online's a very good place to start. Now, like I said with Blair's book Sales Dogs, So sales, what's that say?
Sales and marketing.
So sales and marketing is how businesses survive. If you don't get money coming in, you're screwed. Agreed?
100%.
Okay, so now we're talking about what you want to do. Now, obviously, not many people want to do sales and marketing, but if you do, because some people do, some people love it, believe me, some people get really excited about this stuff. And if that's you, or you think it might be you, if you start taking a bit of an interest and you start, if you've got a very analytical brain and you kind of like to, you know, crunch numbers and test things, and this could be, you know, if you get good at this, basically you ain't got to worry about money. It's as simple as that. If you get good at sales and marketing, like, you can make money anywhere, anyhow, with any business, with any product, with any person. It's literally as simple as that. Obviously, you have to get good at it though. Another one is lead generation. So what that means is there's lots of businesses out there that have got great products and services, but they're just not very good at getting clients or customers. You can get very good at this. Obviously, you can sell those leads, qualified leads or qualified prospects to a business, and you can get paid. So, for example, people do it with dentistry surgeons. I know I've spoken.
Yeah, it's huge in our industry.
Yeah, yeah. So I think you use a company at the moment.
We started using one, but I was doing a lot of it
yourself. Yeah.
Myself. Yeah.
So, in terms, I mean, what's your thoughts on that? Do you think someone could make a lot of money if they got good at that?
Yeah, make tons.
And with all this stuff as well, it's not just about learning how to make.
The trick is that every single one of these things that you've said there requires knowledge and experience and testing and trying and learning again and failing and so on. So it's all about not giving up from the first time. But once you get good at something, you become incredibly valuable.
Couldn't put it better myself. And that's what all of this is about. Creating money is just being able to give value. That's literally all it is. If you can provide value, and that value is needed by other people, you'll get paid, and you can put yourself in positions where you get paid very, very well. So lead generation, sales and marketing, all businesses need the sales. These are kind of a little bit similar, but lead generation is specifically just getting people to that business.
Database.
And you're not even getting people customers. So lead generation is just sending a quality. Yeah, it's just basically sending somebody. So if I was lead generating for you guys, if I send you 10 people, you pay me for 10 leads. It doesn't matter if you get 10 customers.
Or not, yeah.
So it's up to the business to convert that lead into a paying customer. So as a lead generator, you're not expected to sell the business. All you're expected to do is to be good enough at sales and marketing so that you get a steady stream of people approaching that business saying, I want what you're selling.
Yeah, that's Facebook, isn't it?
Facebook's one of the best things. Facebook, as much as the bad rep it gets for having so much data on people and knowing everything about everyone, from a marketer's point of view,
It's amazing.
amazing. Yeah, of course, because you can literally target your ads to people that have got toothache. if I don't think you can actually do that, but you could there's probably sections on there where you could find out if people have got.
When we target for people who are interested in health and fitness, for example, for cosmetic dentistry, or people who are interested in what else? Personal development. We target some of them sometimes because they might be interested in improving their teeth as well. People who are interested in cosmetic surgery, like other parts of the body, for example. So lots of things.
So yeah, big business, and obviously things like Facebook is a marketer's dream in terms of being able to generate leads. So again, this one kind of links back up to the sort of creative thing. In terms of businesses need things. Now, you don't need to be an employee to provide a service. You could be self-employed or have a business, and you could get other businesses might outsource and get your services. So if you're particularly good at writing or particularly good at video editing or whatever it is, you can get paid by other businesses to do that, but as a contractor rather than an employee. Make sense? So in terms of what do you girls and guys, I do that way this time. But in terms of all of you, you're all very different people, you've all got very different skills, very different experience, very different knowledge, and I can guarantee all of you have already got a skill or something. You're already good at stuff. There's already ways you could be making money. But anyway, what I want you to do is just have a look at this. Now, do you know what, in terms of time, so we're nearly at 5 now, so realistically, if we're finished at 6, we've got an hour left. Probably going to be more like 2 hours to get through the goal setting. Is anybody like definitely got to get off? First of all, is everybody like getting something from this? Is everybody happy listening? Yeah. Okay, cool. So, do people have to get off? Do you want me to rush through this so that people can get off at a time, or do you want me to just get it done?
By 6:15ish.
6:15. No worries. So, like, if we haven't finished with recording it, so I can either send a recording. If that doesn't work, I'm happy to just maybe jump on a phone call with you and just fill you in with anything you've missed. If you're happy with that.
Great, thank you.
Cool. The rest of you, you're happy to just kind of keep going. If at any point you need to go, or if you get bored or anything like that, obviously just go. But cool. If that, I just wanted to check that. I just wanted to check that because it's either do I rush through it or do I kind of do it at a good pace where you're going to get more from it. Does that make sense?
Can
cool.
Can I have the recording as well, please? That's very
Yeah. I think.
interesting.
Is it still recording?
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. I'm happy. Everyone can have the.
It's very kind of you, yeah?
Yeah.
Thank
no
you very
worries.
much. Thank
Yeah.
you.
No worries. As well, if you want to take pictures of slides and stuff, do so. But so if everybody's happy that we don't need to rush, what I'll do is I'll just give you 5 minutes now. So just put that in the middle of your paper, and you all have just 5 minutes just to start putting a few ideas down for yourself. So this is personal for you now. So this is what are your passions and what do you want to do?
Can I have a 5-minute break, please?
Of course you can, mate. And if anybody needs a break at any point, just we're not at school. I'm not here as I'm not going to tell anyone off. So. We will have a break in a little bit as well if you just want to kind of, just to let you know you haven't got to sit through the whole lot. Let me set this up as well. Give you a little bit of writing music.
So what do you play?
Say again?
Do you play or you sing music?
Just going to sing.
Is that what you do?
Bit of hard rock and roll.
Yeah, as in what do you do though?
No,
You've got your music sound.
That's just for notes.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, like I don't. It's just if obviously when you're interacting and getting in a conversation or whatever, sometimes you can get a bit sidetracked and forget where you left off. So it's just there, just really just to make sure I don't miss anything.
You don't naturally use it for anything like music?
I don't know. I mean, again, I'm a bit gutted really. When I was young, so like, if you're trying to write and I'm talking, if it puts you off, just say and I'll shut up. But obviously, if you can all write and listen at the same time. So I'm really, really fortunate. So just first of all, I'm a happiness coach. A lot of people think that to be a happiness coach, I've got to have had some really horrible thing happen in my life, and I've got to have been like depressed at some point. So in reality, that's completely not true. Like I've always been a very happy sort of person. Like the only time I really got a bit miserable was, like I say, when I was really sort of trying to do too much, coming home from work and then spending hours on the evening trying to set up marketing funnels and all the rest of it. But anyway, so my mum and dad, I'm blessed to have an amazing mum and dad. They got me to do a lot of stuff when I was younger. So I played the drums, keyboard, obviously everybody plays the recorder, did a bit of guitar. So my mum and dad really gave me the opportunities to do a lot of stuff. Now, as a kid, did I take advantage of those opportunities to the fullest? Obviously not. So no, I don't play any music. I've got probably one of the worst singing voices you'll ever hear in your life. But all of those things, I really wish that I'd have done that when I was younger. And I have actually considered as well just learning how to sing 1 or 2 songs, just so for the odd occasion when you might have karaoke pop up or something. Just because at the moment, if we were all in a karaoke bar and someone give me the microphone, I'd literally run away. I would. Like I'm standing here, I'm really happy talking to everyone, and if there was another 100,000 people, whatever, I wouldn't be bothered, you know what I mean? But if you got me to sing on my own at home when no one could hear me, I'd be cringing. I'd be like, oh my god. But anyway, so like I say, that was probably a longer answer than I needed to.
It was nice.
Yeah, nice one.
Guys,
So just to let you know, the idea of this music is just when you're doing exercises and writing and stuff, it's just meant to give you a little bit more creativity. Just, to be honest, most people like it, so.
What kind of music is that?
Honestly, mate, I just ripped a YouTube reading music track or writing music. That was literally.
Cheaper music.
It's well, it is kind of yeah. So that's basically, and it gets into your
Animalistic stuff. Like,
yeah. It's good, isn't it? And like people do, like the Saints writing music, but people that do a lot of writing and things like that, they really do say how much of a difference it makes. And again, it's about stimulating the subconscious and stuff like that. So, anyway, is everybody kind of happy with that? Does anybody want an extra minute?
yeah. No wonder your brain is spaced out all the time.
Nah, well, okay, well, in that case, again, if we're not limited to time, if anybody's struggling with anything, then we'll address it. So what is it that you're struggling with at the moment? So you said the second part.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what, why? Because you can't think of things you want to do, or because there's too many things, or you're just a little bit meh about,
Yeah, I was a bit like, I don't know.
yeah? So, a good way to look at this is if somebody was going to turn around to you and say, we're going to pay you 50 grand or 100 grand a year, anyway, you get that money no matter what, but you have to do something, and that thing has to be to help somebody else, what would you do?
I like dentistry. I really love dentistry.
Do you know what? And this is, if you love dentistry, you've got a great job, haven't you?
I wanted to do it since I was 3.
Well, you're perfect. So,
It's very sad.
really,
I know.
well, not at all, to be honest. I mean,
He
I know you're
would say
joking.
that. I knew you would say that.
Yeah,
No, but
well,
he
he's
does
joking.
it.
Like, he's a dentist, so he can't say that. Do you know what I
No,
mean?
but he's always said
No,
that.
but
Like,
he
even when
didn't
I
want
say
to be a
dental stuff,
dentist.
like,
He didn't.
No, it's
To be
different.
honest, I didn't want to be an engineer. I spent the whole 3 years I was at university, all I said was I'm never going to be an engineer. Spent 3 or 4 years after finishing uni doing different things. Let me just stop this. And yeah, didn't want to be an engineer. It's like, you know, they say what you say comes true. So the thing with the subconscious is it doesn't understand about negatives. So if you say, oh, I don't want this, I don't want this, or I don't like that, then you get what you don't want and you get what you don't like. So when you use, like, this is really powerful. The power of language is really important. So always say what you do want. Don't say what you don't want. And if you don't know what you do want, then think what is it you don't want and what's the opposite of that, and say you want that. Because like I said, I probably spent 7 years saying I don't want to be an engineer.
Yeah, it's like when they, what's the name of that book, The Secret.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like if you keep thinking, I want to get rid of debt, I want to get rid of debt,
You get debt.
then the only word that's in your head is debt.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you're constantly in debt.
That's it. Because your subconscious, like I say, it
'Cause
doesn't
your brain
understand the
thinks debt.
negative.
That's the
Yeah.
only word that's stuck there is debt. And
Yeah.
your mindset is all debt. That's it. So you're constantly in debt because like,
It's a similar thing as well. So obviously everybody's heard a lot of Mother Teresa.
Yeah.
So somebody said to her, will you come to an anti-war rally? And she said, no chance. I'm not interested. If you call it a peace rally, I'll come. But I'm not going to an anti-war rally. And because she knew, like, anti-war promotes war. Because whatever the word is after anti, that's what you're promoting. And this is why, you know, the whole BLM and the whole racism thing at the moment, it's a really bad place for the world to be in, because the more they talk about racism, the more it's going to
the
promote
more
racism.
prominent it becomes, yeah.
Because people subconsciously
Yeah, yeah.
will
Because
look at
what's
things
the word?
differently, even if
Yeah,
you did
yeah.
it before.
Because that's the word that sticks in the head, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah? Does that help a little bit or not? So, like I said, if you're struggling, then think about, like I said, think about if I had to do something, and the good way to do it is if I had to help other people, because then really, so we're all humans as well, and like realistically, we all get a lot of satisfaction from helping other people. It's just natural. Again, it's with pack animals, tribe animals, we live in communities, we're all here to support each other. For me, I'm going to be honest, another thing, like I said earlier, I'm really happy I get paid to talk to people. I get paid to help people as well. Like, it's a really rewarding job. Like when people tell me that I'm helping them and all the rest of it, it's great. Do you know what I mean? Like, I really love it. So, like I say, I don't know if that's helped you right now, but does it give you another angle to think of things from?
Yeah.
If you're really struggling and you want, we can have a little chat after. Yeah? Is there anybody else that wants to ask something about this before we move on to the goal setting, or ask about anything that we've covered so far? So we're going to go into the goal setting now. We're all good? Cool. Shall I hang on for Ali, or is it here?
He's gonna be on his way. You just crack on.
Yeah, just crack on. Cool. So, before we move into the goal setting, I asked you all to write one goal down. After the little mini section, does anybody think that they want to change that goal? Or are you all happy with your goal? Cool, don't change it anyway, I was just asking. Keep it as it is for now. So anyway, who here set a goal before? I'm guessing you've all set goals because you all work in a professional business. So I'm assuming everyone's set some kind of goal before, yeah? Is there anybody that's never set a goal? Cool, so we're all good in terms of we know what a goal is and we've all set goals. So in respect of goals, why do you think we set goals? Or what's the benefit of having a goal?
To make them happen.
Say again?
To make them happen.
100%,
Make a
yeah.
plan.
That's a big thing. Say again?
Plan.
And so we can create a plan, yes, we need to know what the target is to get the plan. So a big reason why we set goals is, let's just assume this is me here. So a good way to put this, okay, let's just say, this is where I want to be. So what that means is I want to become a bigger version of myself. I want to grow, basically. I want to grow into a better, richer. Make sense? So that's why I set a goal. So whether it's because I want to get fitter, stronger, whether I want to get cleverer, make more money, the goal is I want to improve at something. So when we want to improve, generally, on a chart for a stock or something, the price is going up. Like that's what we want. That's where we're heading. And obviously, in terms of goals, we can have money goals. I do dollars because I do stuff online, so obviously just pretend that as a pound. I should have drawn a pound. And also we have like health and relationship goals. And we also have like material goals as well, so bigger houses, flash cars, things like that. So this is what we want. Now, what do you think stops people getting their goals? Any ideas?
Fear?
Lack of a plan.
Fear. So fear, say again?
Lack of a plan.
That's definitely a big one. Lack of a plan would also suggest a lack of a goal as well. But I suppose in terms of why don't people achieve goals, yeah, lack of a plan is good. Fear is a big one. So remember before I showed you this book? What's that say?
Little boys.
So I really like the way Blair teaches this. So in terms of the subconscious and the way it kind of affects or dictates what results and what actions we're going to take, it's all about the little voice. It's about how we talk to ourselves. So who's the biggest or the most likely person to get in the way of our own success?
Yourself.
Our little voices, yeah? So
How do you stop that voice not to?
So there's loads of ways. Yeah, so there's loads of ways. Like this book here actually gives, I think it's 20 different, I think it's 21. So that book gives 21 different, he calls them little voice techniques. It's a really good book, to be fair. Like some of them you'd read them and be like, oh, it's just common sense, but obviously everything's common sense once you've learned it, isn't it, or once you understand it. So I'll talk about a couple now, but really the best way to get over your little voice is just to tell it to shut up, because 9 out of 10 times when it's talking to you, it's talking rubbish. Like again, we're living in an environment where we're really safe. Like who here's got to worry about anything that's going to kill them other than maybe crossing the road and getting hit by a car? Has anybody got to worry about a saber-toothed tiger jumping out of a bush or anything? So we live in a world which has been pretty much designed that we can't even hurt ourselves if we want to at some points, you know what I mean? So we've really got nothing to worry about, but our minds will be telling us everything is a danger. So I know it sounds a bit of a simple answer, but the easiest way to stop your little voice is just literally tell it to shut up. Well, no, sorry, do you know what?
Recognise it.
Yeah, you are right, and that's 100%, because if you tell it to shut up, so you know I said before it's like a bodyguard. Now imagine you had a physical bodyguard, imagine you're rich or famous or something, you've got a bodyguard and you're walking into a building, whether it's a club or whatever it is, and that bodyguard is going to be looking around like, where's the danger, what is that group over there doing, why is he looking over here, all this stuff. So that's the bodyguard's job, is to look after you. So if you walk into let's just say a nightclub, because things can go wrong in a nightclub, it's the most likely place where something's going to go wrong, get it, a lot of booze and all that sort of stuff. So if you walk in and this bodyguard stood there and he says a group of blokes there and a group of blokes there and they're all staring at you, and he comes up and he goes, yeah, look, just watch out, because all these people, like, they might know who you are, they're looking at you, they don't look like they really like you, so just watch out. And now if you turn around and say, shut up mate, I ain't bothered, I'm going to do what I want, going. And this is probably what a lot of celebrities are like, it's how the people that are looking after them do ones, you know what I mean? So what do you think the bodyguard's going to do? Do you think that's going to put the bodyguard at ease, or do you think the bodyguard's going to be a little bit stressed out?
More on guard, more on alert. So
the bodyguard's more stressed out, and because the bodyguard's like, well, I'm here to do a job, I'm trying to protect you, but you have no interest in protecting yourself. So the bodyguard's a little bit like, hang on, now I really need to do my job. So 100% hit the nail on the head. What I told you was completely wrong. Don't tell it to shut up, acknowledge it, which is what Ali said. So a good phrase that you can use for yourself is, thank you for sharing. So basically what you're saying is, you've alerted me to danger, I'm aware of it, I appreciate that you've alerted me, and now you know I'm aware, but I'm still going to do what I'm going to do, but you can be comfortable in the fact that I am listening to you and I'm aware. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if you tell yourself that in a sort of internal monologue, you can even talk to yourself out loud. Like, it doesn't mean you're mad, it just means that you're a bit more switched on than everybody that doesn't know about this stuff, do you know what I mean? But does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, nice one for that, Ali, mate. So yeah, the little voice, basically, this is what's getting in our way. So, in terms of the little voice, if we're talking about the way my mind works, who wants to have a guess at what this might be?
Your brain.
Nice. Never seen this before, really. Not many people get that straight away. So
Smile.
according to football. Huh?
Oh, I thought it's going to be smiley face.
No, so Hassan said it's my brain, basically. So your brain's made up of, it's actually made up of more, but for simplify, it's made up of two parts. So on a day-to-day basis, when we're making conscious decisions and we're living consciously, so obviously this is the conscious, how much of your brain do you think you use consciously? So that, when I say conscious, that means in terms of you making decisions and actually doing stuff while you're thinking. The rest of it is like the automatic stuff that goes on behind. So who wants to have a guess?
20%.
20? It's a good guess. Very
It's
good guess.
12. It's my favourite questions from my husband. When he asks people, he says that, so I know the answer, but maybe I should let the others think. Because some people just like to say, oh, just to encourage people, because we think the brain is big, but we're not using a lot of it.
No, we don't. I
Especially
mean,
to the children, to encourage them, do more, do more.
yeah. You see, people get that a little bit confused when we say we don't use all of our brain. We do actually use it all, but we just don't use it consciously.
Yeah, but
yeah. So there's a lot of people that go, well, we only use 10% of our brain, 90% is just dead. Like, it's definitely not. Like we use all of our brain. There probably are certain areas that don't get used very much, or maybe are redundant nowadays. But yeah, so just to clarify that, we do use nearly all of it, but just only consciously a small part. So like I say, that's the conscious. So for argument's sake, we're just going to say 10%. So your 12% is, that could have been a figure that's a very accurate figure, I don't know. Let's say it's between 5 and 15%, so 10% is a good ballpark figure. The other thing is that probably everybody's different as well. Obviously, we're all slightly different, aren't we? So anyway, 10% is conscious. Does anybody know what the other 90% of our brain is called?
Subconscious.
Cool. Subconscious, indeed. Not to be confused with unconscious. So unconscious could either be asleep or after a few too many drinks on a Friday. So the subconscious, and this is where the little voice lives. So when we talk about the little voice, really what we're talking about is the subconscious brain, but it's the way So the subconscious, when we're not interacting with ourselves, for example, if I want to go and pick something up over there, I don't think about moving my feet and putting my hand out and grabbing something or whatever, like it just happens. Like I just go, I want that, and it just happens. Now the little voice is the part where you're making decisions and your brain's going, do that. Oh, but if you do that, that's going to, does that make sense? Yeah? Oh, alright then, brilliant. Another thing here as well, I don't know how, are you happy with the said earlier? Okay, so I'll just explain. So so you talk about little voice techniques. A really good little voice technique in terms of the little voice is, who watches sports, or I mean you're all aware of sports, aren't you? So if something good happens, so we talk about football because it's, you know, probably one of the biggest sports, but if somebody scores a goal, like what happens? What does the team do?
Everybody cheers and celebrates.
Celebrate. So again, when we were talking about energy, lifting the energy up, but a big reason why they're celebrating the wins is because it kind of cements that victory. So you're celebrating that victory, but it also elevates the energy to push forward to get more victories. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So what are some ways that people celebrate?
Jump up, down, cheering, making
Louder.
noise.
What about, say, if someone scores and you run up to your teammate and you
Yeah.
High fives, clapping.
high five? High fives is a big one. So that's where you and somebody else is actually physically celebrating. So there's a big, you know, there's energy there. There's a, yeah. So might sound a bit American. Some of you might
It
find
is.
this a little bit awkward.
It is. On both occasions.
Yeah. So just for today.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Do it.
So basically, what we're going to do today is, obviously with the goal setting process, we are going to hopefully get some like little breakthroughs, and people are going to have some realisations, and we're going to set some good goals and stuff. So if you lot are all happy to buy into it, we're going to celebrate our wins today, and all we're going to do is just literally just pick a partner. With I was asking that before because obviously with social distancing, if there's people that don't want to do this, don't worry. But
Is everybody happy to do high-fiving? Or are you coronavirus...
No, I'm happy.
You're
Yeah.
okay? We have gel if you ever
I was
want
going to say the way around
wear
it
gloves.
is, yeah, if you all want
Are you
to,
okay with that?
if anybody's worried, just make sure you gel your hands and get your partner to gel you. And we can just stick in, is there two kind of partners? Ali, you might just have to do 2 high fives each
Alright.
side or something.
Yeah?
But if everybody's happy with that, yeah? So basically all it is we're just going to celebrate wins that we have, but we're also celebrating wins for the other people as well. So like for example in football, somebody scores, what's the keeper doing? Celebrating, and he's on the other end of the pitch, so he didn't score the goal, but he's part of the team that had the good result. So we're going to celebrate as a team today and in future trainings. But I just really want to address that now because, like I say, as British people, this sort of stuff is very much.
Yep.
So I don't think I was too
But it's
keen
very
on this
good.
one.
No,
Yeah,
it's very good.
breaks
I
barriers.
It does, it breaks barriers. But do you know what the other big thing as well, and I know I've spoken to both of you a lot about this, is it's about celebrating wins in your life all the time. So not just today, not just with us, but on your own. So anytime, so this is a really big thing with humans as well, is we fixate on negative and we just forget about all the good stuff. So you could have a day, and I asked at the start who's had a good day, who's had a bad day. Now, if we don't learn how to appreciate the good things that happen in our life, and we don't learn how to celebrate our wins, all we ever do is remember the bad stuff. So this celebrating wins is really a way that you're making your subconscious understand that, do you know what, I'm actually pretty good, I do good stuff, I am good at this, I have got a really good result. You know, somebody said something nice to me, instead of like downplaying it, I'm going to take the compliment and let it sink in. Yeah? So if we're all happy to do it, we'll just start off. So do you want? We'll just stick to pairs, because then, and you three. So just turn to your partner, give them a high five, and say you are awesome.
You are awesome.
Yeah. Quick question: what's just happened to the energy? Yeah. I can't see anybody that hasn't got a smile on their face apart from.
Jackie.
But even, I can even tell by your eyes that you're smiling, do you know what I mean? So this is it, it's not just to celebrate, it's to get the energy up as well. So, and in life, like I said, even if you can't celebrate with someone else, celebrate with yourself. If you've done something really good, you have a little celebration, do you know what I mean? Even if you're on your own at home, just be like, fuck you. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? to do it because
Even if you're on the bus, on the train.
wherever. Do you know what? There's more strange people doing weirder stuff than going, yes, I did something good, like. So anyway, definitely celebrate all wins, yeah. And like I say, that's not just today. That's try and start doing that all the time, whatever it is that you're doing, and don't downplay things as well. So people always see like a little win as like, oh, it's just something. So for example, exercise. People who are very fit and healthy, they'll do a small workout and they'll just dismiss it like, oh, there's nothing. But no, you've still exercised, you've still worked out. You know, there's other things. So maybe a writer, somebody trying to write a book or something, and they get a bit of a writer's block. Go and write one page. It's better than no pages, isn't it? And also the other thing is it's called activation energy as well. But once you start doing something, you've got a much stronger chance of continuing that thing.
I mean, for us in our jobs, if you'll allow me to interject a bit, for us in our work, we dentists, we're very self-deprecating. You know, we do 10 fillings and 10 this and 10 that every day, but we just think of it as nothing. So the idea is to say, no, I did that really well, to celebrate that, to acknowledge that and affirm that to yourselves. It's important to do that, to feel good about yourself. And for the team, I managed to get through this procedure with Ali today, or I managed to finish this today. We finished on time. Mrs. Smith was really, really happy because I gave it. These are the little things, that are still wins. They're great. They're wins. They're things that need to be acknowledged and celebrated. Even though you think of it as nothing, it's just my job, I just get paid to do it. No, it's a win. Yeah?
Big time. And we'll talk about that a little bit at the end as well. But again, not today, but in the future ones. So a lot of what I'm doing as well, obviously with Blair, like I say, he's very much into business and very much into teams. So his model is basically teaching people how to sell, how to build teams, and how to teach his team how to sell. That's basically how he runs all his business. Anyway, like I said, team code of honour is a big thing. So at the end, I'm going to talk a little bit about. We're actually going to talk about code of honour for today, right now. So it's quite fitting. But we're going to also talk about some team dynamics and things as well. So as a team, like in the same thing as do you want more or less happiness, like do you want to work for a better team or a worse team? Basically, do you want your team that you're part of to interact in a better way or a worse way? Do you want it to be more supportive or less supportive? So in terms of business and teams, and this isn't just a team in terms of what you guys are, this is like sports teams, anything where a group of people are trying to achieve an outcome, it's better that they work well together. Agreed?
Yeah.
Cool. So we'll talk about that and definitely, we'll come on to that at the end rather than talking about it now. So, like I said, code of honour. Now, the other word for this is just rules. Now, some people think rules sounds more negative or code of honour, but like I said, for me, rules is very much like I am the boss of this space. I'm going to set these rules, and you will do what you're told. Nobody really likes rules. Code of honour is, like I say, it's stuff that we've all got to buy into. So this is for today, but also for anything ongoing as well. So just quickly, these aren't draconian rules. It's not about no talking or anything like that. But just, has anybody got an idea of maybe a good rule that we could implement today? So I've already said the reason why I'm asking questions and things like that is because I want you guys to do what?
Interact.
Yeah, so participate or interact. And like I say, that's not just because I want to feel like you lot are interested, it's because I want you lot to learn more and take more in. So participate and interact. Maybe, so if we're all going to be sharing ideas, and when we come to the goal setting, maybe some people are going to be talking about things that they potentially wouldn't normally bring up in a public situation. So what do we want to give each other so that everybody feels comfortable and it's a safe space?
Respect.
So we're going to call it respect the space. So what that means